God have stood up to defend the man of God, this man will be known as the vindicated Senator Roy Moore. And that every tongue that rises up against him will be put into shame.
Let's get a little election night chant going here. Judge Roy Moore. Judge Roy Moore. Yeah, y'all happy? Yeah. All right. Wow. Okay, we're hanging on. 81% of the vote. Some people have called the race. We're not calling it yet. All right. Great is thy faithfulness, O God, my Father.
Please sing with us, loud and strong. We're still counting. Let's keep praying and singing alongside.
I really want to thank you for coming tonight and realize when the vote is this close that it's not over. What we've got to do is wait on God and let this process play out. I know it's late. Let's go home and sleep on it. We'll get up.
Because y'all know how I am about time. Okay. Got about 8 minutes to go. I always tell people support black, buy black, be black, but we got to be on time with our stuff, so I always try to be on time. Last week we didn't broadcast because we were on the road. We had to do some things out in Queens, the martial arts school that I got my black belt from. Had a promotion for some of the lower ranks, and as a top rank, I was required to be there. Sensei called me and asked me to come and be a part of the promotion. And I don't know what's going on with those trains. I left here because I'm upstate right now. I'm upstate. Put that in the comment section, kids, so people can see it. Because we got to get up on our health too. But as I was saying, I'm up in Westchester, and I left here like 7 o'clock in the morning, y'all. No kidding. And everything was smooth sailing. But by the time I got down to Queens, it took me 3 hours to do the last 3 stops. So I didn't really get to Jamaica Arts Center, which is another topic we're going to have to discuss, until late that afternoon. And it drove me crazy. I don't see how people could do it, man. Those trains are so jammed up, especially on the weekends, man. I mean, I understand they got to do work, but it shouldn't take no 3 hours to get to the last 3 stops, man. It's crazy. All right, I'll check my inbox after the broadcast and make sure I put that out there. Yeah, so, we're trying to get this thing going. We want to take this thing off the Facebook platform, because it's just too janky for me. There's always something wrong with this platform, so that's, like I said, please hit the like button, please hit the share button, So last week we didn't come at you because we was out in Queens. We had to go to the promotion. And what I wanted to actually do was broadcast from the promotion, and some other things we did. After that, we went to Harlem at the Paris Blue nightclub. We were able to sit in and do some playing and some singing, and it was fun. It was a fun night, so that's why we didn't broadcast last week. But we're going to be coming at you faithfully every weekend. Some of you guys know I'm here every Saturday, hook or crook, no matter where I am. I always try to come out, even if it's for a half an hour, because like I said, I always promote supporting, our Nubian entities. And one of my main pet peeves is that we support, but we don't be on time, we don't be on point with our business. We got to get our business on fleek if we want people to support us and be behind us, So if I tell you I'm going to be out here, I always try to be out here and be on top of my game, because it doesn't make sense for us to look for support and we don't have it together. So, but again, we're trying to get off this platform, so hit the like button, hit the share button, share this out to your friends and families, and please hit the subscribe button, because we don't go off donations. If you go on YouTube and you listen to a lot of these different people that broadcast and bring you some positive content, I'm not dumping on nobody, but they're always asking for donations, and I don't want to do that. A dollar goes a long way, especially in this economy. If you want to do anything, I always encourage you guys, buy the album. The album Tears is still on sale. The gospel album is coming out. I got a gospel album coming out with my little brother. I just finished a jazz song that I'm going to send out for peer review. Hey, Joe, how you doing? Joe has joined the conversation. And because that's how I always do. I'm scientific about my method. One of the steps of the scientific method is after you've done your research and you've done your data collection, you send out your hypothesis to peers so that they can review it and give you some feedback. And that's how I am with my music. So the song that I finished is getting ready to go out for peer review. And once that's done, we're going to package everything. So we should be hitting you up with a jazz project pretty soon. And then we're going to hit you up with some more funk. And like I said, every 6 months, we're going to come with something different, Okay, that's cool. Healthy transit workers marketing. Okay, thank you, dear. Hey, Anna. How you doing? Nice to see you. My cousin Jimmy has joined the conversation. So, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, help me out with this platform. Share it out. Help me get my numbers up, because I don't want no donations. People got to pay their bills, man. And I don't want nobody, like I said, if you want to give me, send any type of money my way, buy the album. This way you get some product for some bang for your buck. You could either buy the whole album, or you could just buy, individual songs that you like, and, just help us keep this going. But for this platform, for what I'm doing here, I need your likes, I need your subscriptions, so that I can go to sponsors and say, hey, look, I got a couple of thousand people watching this every Saturday, advertise on the site, we'll give you some advertisement, and that way we can keep this going on that level. So we don't want your dollars to keep this going. We just need you to go to my YouTube station or right here and push the like, push the subscribe button, so we can show that we have the numbers. It should be about that time. We like to come at you live at 2 o'clock. The mic is live. We got Public Enemy bouncing it in the background. And we're going to come at you right now with the stuff. All right, there's a lot happening in the news. It's been a busy week in the news. It's been a funny week in the news. The top story in the black community is Miss Omarosa, a.k.a. Niggerosa, no longer in the White House. She's been shown the door. She got kicked to the curb. So now she's on the outside looking in. It's how the mighty have fallen. And I knew that was going to happen, because, anybody that knows this man knows he's a user. And he was just using Ben Carson and her, and even Steve Harvey. I remember I got into somewhat of a spirited conversation with a brother who I respect, and I respect his opinion. But I was trying to tell him, man, this orange dude is toxic, man. And the only reason why he had black people around him is to use them to try to get up under the black community. And now, Omarosa has been shown the door. And she's talking this my people stuff. Heifer, you ain't got no people. You sold your soul to the devil. So therefore, you're gone. You know, and a lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't kick her when she's down, this, that, and another. We've been down for 250 years, and she sided with the people that's been kicking us and keeping us down. So I feel no pity for her. I have no sympathy for her. I feel no pity for her. You know, she goes on Good Morning America and does this old phony interview talking about how she resigned and she saw things in the White House that she didn't like. Yeah, I'm sure you did every time you looked in the mirror, you know. And I understand she didn't even have an office in the White House. You know, she gets into it with the chief of staff at the Christmas party, and he basically has her escorted out the building. You know, now we're supposed to rally around her and feel sorry for her. I don't think so. You know, bye, Felicia. Like, what's her name told on Good Morning America? Goodbye and good riddance. You know, she's going to come out with some old phony book, and only a fool will go and support that woman and buy that book, because we all know what it's about. You know, cut to the chase and just tell everybody the interesting story of how you got on your knees and scrub the carpet for this man. You know, it's a daggone shame that people would let them be used by this man instead of standing far away from him. You know, I was so shocked that Steve Harvey going and meeting with him, talking about what Barack told him to go and meet with him. You got to be in it to win it. I don't want to hear that, man. I don't care who told you to go. You should have had common sense. In fact, you should have listened to your woman. You know, she told you not to go. And you going to listen to somebody else over your woman? I don't think so, man. You know, there's a lot of things I do, and I keep close to the vest just to protect my lady, you know, in case something go wrong. But if I share something with her in business and she say, yo, I think you should do this, I don't care if Jesus Christ himself came down and told me to do it. The first person I'm going to listen to is her. You know, I even wrote a song that's going to be on the funk album called What Your Woman Said. You know, and it opens up with Louis Farrakhan talking about how men have to listen to their women. You know, even though you have your own point of view and you have a way of doing things. Hey, Catherine, how you doing? Good to see you. You know, your truth is not the truth. You know, and brothers got to understand that sometimes. You know, a woman's intuition is a real thing. I remember my brother was telling me how he went to visit my grandmother one year, and he got off the highway and he was lost, and he called her, and she picked up the phone and just called his name out and started giving him direction. Before he hung up, he asked her, like, how'd you know it was me? And she said, because I felt you, baby. You know, so that woman's intuition is some real stuff, man. And when your woman looks at your friend for 5 minutes and say, yo, you need to get away from him, or, you know, or tell you you should go left when you're about to go right, you better open your ears and you better open your eyes and respect that, man. And that's why I have no respect for Steve Harvey, you know, going and standing with this orange fool and ruining his career. His ratings are down now, you know, and they all just fell suit, you know. Ben Carson, same way. Ben's going to be out pretty soon, mark my words, you know. He's clearing house of all these black folk because he's getting ready to make his move. I don't know if you guys caught the news conference with the head of the Justice Department was talking about this effort that they're getting ready to step up on urban crime, going after MS-13 and all this other stuff. Basically, all he's saying is, hold your booty tight, black folk, because we're coming for you. You know, and they're just getting ready to go into phase 2 of their white supremacist movement. And that's why Omarosa's out. Ben Carter's going to be out pretty soon. You know, he had the nerve to call the black Republicans and tell them to take the gloves off and tell everybody what they've been going through under Omarosa. Whatever they've been going through under Omarosa, she was directed by her white daddy. And that's the bottom line. You know, he's using these black Republicans now to denigrate the sister and go after her, you know. But all this direction came from him and him alone. Okay. Also in the news, Alabama showed some guts and some grit. Jones defeated Moore. Everybody know who Roy Moore was. He was the pedophile that was about to take over the Senate seat down there. And it was an upset. Hasn't been a Democrat in Alabama in like 50 years. And in fact, when I when I repost this on my YouTube channel, I'm gonna open up with a clip of the Moore campaign. You know, they was all happy because, like, you know how they call in the results in the middle of the race, and he was up by 50 points, and they was like, "Oh, the Lord that chose his champion," and all this other stuff. They was cheering, and then as the night went on, you see them get long faced, talking about, let's sing a song of praise. And by the end of the night, nobody wanted to sing because they sort of knew that it was all over. And now you don't even want to concede defeat. You know, and that just shows you how these people are, man. Hey, Vivian, how you doing? Good to see you. You know, it's amazing how they don't want to concede and admit that they've been defeated. And this is going to go into the main topic, you know, what I want to talk about in terms of getting more bang for the black buck. You know, and this we see in the in this race, they're saying that it was black women that pushed Jones over the top. You know, the power of the black vote is back, and we need to realize, you know, with this resurgence of other immigrants, the power had waned a little bit, you know. But the truth of the matter is, Republican or Democrat, they're not winning without the black vote, and we need to understand that. We need to understand the power we have with the vote, you know. And it was just great to see that Alabama grew a conscience, you know, because all leading up to the race, all they was talking about was, you know, all they need is, they wasn't concerned with the fact that he was a pedophile. He was a 23 or 30-year-old man chasing 14, 15-year-old girls. All they was concerned about was getting a Republican in there so that they can push through this nutcase's corrupt agenda, you know. But they grew some backbone. The people came out. Even Charles Barkley got off the coon train for a minute. I was shocked. Charles Barkley, you know, thanks, Ken. You know, Charles Barkley came off the coon train and started talking some real stuff, man. And you know, he got the black vote motivated down there, you know. I was kind of shocked, but you know, there's some things, you know, and you have to admit that there are some things, even under this system of white supremacy that we've been living under. You know, there are some things that are sacred to the human spirit, you know, and you know, even though those devils were trying to push this man in there, and there's some corrupt individuals that sold their soul, the vast majority, and we saw this during the last election, the vast majority of the American people are good people. And the thing that bring us down around the world are the people that are at the top that are doing these devilish things in our name, you know. But the people, I'm talking about the people. When you look at disasters that happen, like these hurricanes, earthquakes, the wildfires, you know, people being homeless and hungry, when you look at who's really helping people, it's not coming from the government level. It's coming from grassroots individuals, you know. And again, this is why this medium of the internet and these different social medias are so very important, and which is why they're attacking them at this point. Because when the people are united, there's nothing we can't do, you know. When you look at the disasters in Puerto Rico and Texas and Florida and around Mexico, the earthquakes in Mexico, it's the grassroots people that come out and help, you know. So it's the people that are good, you know, and there are certain things that are sacred, you know. You cannot attack a child, you know. A good person isn't going to stand around on their phone and record a child being abused. They're going to step in and do something. A good person isn't going to stand around laughing and posting the world star when they see an elderly person being abused, because they know that that elderly person is a living, breathing encyclopedia of information, a wealth of information. They're going to step in and do something. You know, a good person is going to see somebody hurting or hungry and in need and not do anything. And the people of Alabama realized that this man was not a good person. That you let him loose in Congress is like letting a fox in the hen house. You know, and beyond the fact that he was a pedophile, he was homophobic, he was misogynist, you know, he was racist. Some of the things that he did, got kicked off the bench like 2 or 3 times. The man was a walking disaster, but they still backed him. That just shows you the consciousness of Trump and some of his followers. They still back this man, even though he was a walking disaster, you know. Also, in the news, the bully kid, Keaton Jones. You can't make this stuff up, man. So this guy, I know you guys have been seeing the video on Facebook and YouTube. Little boy goes on Facebook, got his mom on there with him. He crying, boo-hoo, big buck tears, talking about he's being bullied and he don't know why people bully people just because you're different. And he got everybody behind him. And shout out to our brother Tariq Nasheed. He is the author of the producer of the Hidden Colors series. You guys all often hear me talk about him. There's certain people that I like to watch online and get some information from. Tariq is one of those people. There's another brother, Sabir Bey, I always talk about, and you know, a number of people that I like to watch their videos and see the work that they do. Well, what Tariq did, instead of getting all caught up in his feelings, Tariq actually went and did some research on this young man, Keaton Jones, and his family, and found out that they're a bunch of card-carrying white supremacists. So you got Snoop Dogg, who I love Snoop. Snoop is cool. You know, and all these other black athletes and Rihanna and all these people supporting this young dude. And the whole family is a bunch of card-carrying white supremacists talking about they're against bullying. Yet y'all belong to the KKK and neo-Nazis, the biggest bullies on the damn planet. But that just goes to show, ladies and gentlemen, you have to be careful as to who you support. You can't just take stuff and run with it, you know, get caught up in this mob mentality, you know, because everybody else is doing it. You got to do your own research. You have to do your own research. You've got to look stuff up. You got to find out who's saying what and why they're saying it. And come to find out, his mother, her name is Kimberly Jones. She is basically just trying to get money. She was using him and his story to try to get money, you know, and people donated to their GoFundMe account and all this stuff. And again, they're a bunch of card-carrying white supremacists, you know, posing with, they had him, Keaton, posing with the Confederate flag and all. And I had people say, well, just because he poses with the Confederate flag, that don't mean he should be bullied. Let me tell you something. If it quacks like a duck, it walks like a duck, 9 times out of 10 it's a duck. And if it's not a duck, it's some crazy fool that think he a duck. You know, don't run that stuff on me. You know, the boy was a bully himself, and it's coming out that the reason he got bullied is because he was running around calling people nigger. So, you know, let's be for real about it, man. You know, let's not get so caught up in our feelings and our emotions. You know, again, goes to my point. People are basically good. People don't like to see other people suffer, particularly children. It's just something innate in our humanity that if a child is suffering, a normal human being that has the electrons firing in the brain is going to react a certain way. You know, his mother knew that, and that's why she posted him online, basically coached him what to say, and tried to make a payday out of it. You know, so now a lot of people are backtracking and basically saying, you know, watch yourself with this thing. You know, D.L. Hughley, who I respect his opinion a lot of times, but he got it wrong on this one, saying that just because the mom is a card-carrying racist don't mean that the boy deserves to be bullied. You know, and don't get me wrong, I'm against bullying. I think all bullies are nothing but cowards anyway. If, you know, my experience with them, if you confront them and let them know you're ready to die for what you believe in, they're going to back down, you know, because they're not about that life. Basically, all they're about is fear and intimidation. And once you call a bluff, you know, they're going to back away from you. But, you know, my thing is, you know, nobody should be bullied. But at the same time, if you open a door on a certain avenue, you know, you can't cry foul. And once you're a victim of your own situation, you know, she trained that boy to be who and what he was, you know, and he opened the door on that. He opened himself up to that, you know, and what walked in was a beast that he wasn't ready to deal with, you know. So black folks, stop getting caught up in your feelings, you know. I see all these posts, pray for when the terrorists attack, pray for Paris and pray for Germany. Oh, the floods in Texas, pray for the people in Texas, you know. And these are our people. Like I said, people are good. We don't want to see nobody suffer. But 9 times out of 10, you go to Paris, they're not going to treat you with no respect. You go to Germany, you go to certain parts of Texas, they'll shoot at you. In fact, some of the people that were caught up in that flood, some of the black people were getting shot at instead of rescued, you know. But meanwhile, as I look, I don't see nothing about Libya, about the slave trade in Libya that's going on right now. Young women being raped and sold into slavery. Young men being beaten and killed and murdered in front of their families. But nobody's saying pray for Libya or Uganda or these other places where we're being affected, you know. So stop getting caught up in your feelings for other people and look at the plight of your own people and start dealing with those issues. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying not to have humanity and want to help other people, but we get so caught up in other people's nonsense that we miss the boat on our own. You know how many young black girls killed themselves this year because of bullying? And it never got publicized on the news. You never saw it on nobody's page or none of that, you know? So stop getting caught up in your feelings, man, and start looking at this thing for what it is, the reality of what it is and what people are pushing. So yeah, we have also in the news, Mary Norwood is another one from Atlanta. We have a black mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms. I'm sorry, she won the race in Atlanta, and Mary Norwood is refusing to step down, saying that she's going to have a recount. You know, it just goes to show how butthurt these people be. They tell you believe in the system. You know, anytime one of these race soldiers get away with killing one of ours and don't get punished for it, or they do some skullduggery to us, they always tell us believe in the system. Let the system work. We have one of the greatest systems. We have one of the greatest systems in America, in the world. Let the American system work. Now she all butthurt because she lost the election, and now nobody wants the system to work. Like, wait, you said, y'all always say let the system work. Well, let the system work. The system said that our sister, Ms. Bottoms, won the election. Give her the keys to the kingdom. You know, what's that all about, man? It's a trip how they, you know, it just kills me. It really does. Also, in the news, did y'all see the congressional hearings? You read about that, kid. Take care of home, man. Take care of home. We got to take care of our own, you know. But did y'all see the congressional confirmation hearing on the federal judges that the orange one put up? Some of the most unqualified, and I just got to go back to the election days when he was talking about he going to get the best people. Believe me, folks, Believe me, we're going to have the best people. It's going to be bigger and better than ever. We're going to drain the swamp. Believe me, people. I'm going to get the best people. I'm going to find and hire the best people from all walks of life. Yeah, the best people. These dudes could not answer one question that the congressmen were asking them. You know, Congressman Kennedy was asking him, have you ever tried the case? Have you ever tried a criminal case? A bench case? Have you ever took a deposition? One dude said, yeah, well, I took a deposition when I was an intern. Wait a minute. You want us to give you the keys to the federal judgeship, and you never tried the case, you never tried the bench case, you never tried the criminal case, you're not even familiar with some of the most popular legal jargon that's going to come across, that normally comes across a federal bench, but you want to be nominated as a federal judge? You know, further proof that this man was in no way qualified to hold this office. You know, which brings me to my next point. You know, we've got all of these allegations of sexual harassment against different people coming out. Al Franken, other members of Congress, different movie stars and business executives and entertainment executives, and all of them stepping away and stepping down and resigning and apologizing, and the list goes on and on and on. You know, and I've already stated my opinion, about this culture of sexual harassment against mainly women. Okay. You know, again, I'm not one of those people that when somebody say Black Lives Matter, I'm not going to stand up and say all lives matter, you know, because we know the target of injustice. So when we talk about this thing of sexual harassment, I'm not going to just shout out everybody gets sexually harassed. Even though it's true, we know the main victims of this are women, you know. But with having said that, you know, I'm looking at all these people doing what they have to do. Matt Lauer, Charlie Rose, what's his name? You know who I'm talking about. Def Jam executive. You know, all these people stepping aside, doing the right thing, you know, not letting themselves be a distraction. And meanwhile, the orange one has yet to issue an apology, has yet to admit to his wrongdoing. He's got something like 19 women stepping forward and making allegations against him. You know, but the thing that really kills me, because I don't expect him to do the right thing. We've already saw a track record of who and what he is, so I don't expect him to do the right thing. But the thing that kills me is, about 2 weeks ago, Democrats went to the floor and called for his impeachment because he sent a video that was misleading about Muslim terrorists. Now, I'm like, of all the things that you would bring a video about, I mean, you would bring impeachment proceedings about, with all this stuff this man's got on his plate, you know, your attack to him is about a daggone video he put out on Twitter. So you see, my problem is not so much with the orange one, because again, we already know what he's about. We know who he is. My good friend David has joined the conversation. Hey, David, how you doing, bro? My problem is with a feckless, almost invisible Democratic Party. Like, where the hell are the Democrats, you know? And I don't know if you guys have been following my posts, but that's why I posted the other day. The time is right now for an independent party. This is a time for an independent party to really go on the move and go on the surge. But I desperately think that the American people need a third choice, particularly African Americans. I hate using that term, but Nubian people, melanated people, we need a third choice. This is the time, this is the place, this is the atmosphere for a third party, because the Republicans are crazy, they're godless, and they're evil. I don't care how you cut it. Look at the policies that they're pulling down on people. And the Democrats are feckless. They have no guts. They've basically been invisible for this whole year when they could have been on the attack. And with all due respect to our sister, Michelle Obama, a classy lady, no matter how you cut it. But that whole philosophy of when they go low, we go high, and that don't work for me. That don't work for me. I'm a trained martial artist, and when they go low, you throw a low section block and try to break their leg. That's my philosophy. So, Democrats, y'all got to get this together, man. I mean, y'all like nowhere to be found. This makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. Okay, finally, last thing I want to talk about before I get into the main topic is this new vote that the FCC is trying to basically get rid of the internet neutrality law that Obama put into place in his term in office. And we basically know what most of that is about. Anything that he did, he put in place, they basically just trying to erase. And that's something for all of you kumbaya, can't we all get along, racism is over thinking people. Y'all better get real and realize that this system of white supremacy is here, it's real, and they are frankly, they didn't want the man to have the office, but just like everything else, anytime they mess something up, they come to one of us to fix it. I've said this before and I'll keep saying it, over 60% of everything invented, all the patents in the world, have been done by black folk, by Nubian people, all right? And of those inventions, not one of them was for a weapon or an instrument of mass destruction. And the ones that we were involved with were created by some white dude that couldn't get it right and had to bring it to us to perfect. And that's the atom bomb and other instruments of mass destruction. All right, we didn't invent them. They were invented by white folk. The atom bomb, for one. They couldn't get it right, so they brought it to a brother, and the brother showed them how to get the intermix together and get the right proportions and the right mathematics. Some of you may have seen the movie Hidden Figures, all right? The space program was about to be trashed. They were being beat by the Russians. They couldn't get the mathematics right in terms of trajectory of orbit and re-entry. And they had to go to our sister, wouldn't let her drink out of the same coffee pot. She had to walk clear across campus in order to go to the bathroom to relieve herself, But they brought her to math so she could get it together for them and save the space program. So there's nothing that we've been involved with that we haven't been able to master, and they couldn't come to us. Thanks, Ken. Thanks for joining me, bro. Just be aware that what's going on here with this internet neutrality law and all the other laws that Obama put into place, basically because they don't want to see a black man do nothing. So they're trying to destroy his legacy. Now, the flip side of that, the other side of this internet neutrality thing is the fact that, again, they're moving into phase 2. A lot of people get caught up in the fact that we have a very serious problem with racism in this country. So we think that racism and the white supremacist way of thought is basically an American phenomenon. No, it's not. White supremacy is a worldwide phenomenon. And when you talk about a worldwide phenomenon, you look at how things have been happening in these past couple of years and how things have changed in terms of information sharing and idea sharing over the internet. One of the main goals of the white supremacists is to control information. That's one of their main tools, controlling information, disseminating disinformation. And the flip side of this net neutrality law is to be able to control the international discourse. Okay, it's very important to understand that if this thing goes through, and I understand that certain companies are going to be fighting it in the court, but the people, see, it goes back to the people, we the people, all right? My cousin John is on. Hey, John, how you doing? We the people have to get involved and let them know that this cannot fly. Because if this was possible, if they struck down the net neutrality laws, that will give certain companies the permission to ignore the antitrust laws. And understand what I'm saying here, folks. They will be able to ignore the antitrust laws and create a monopoly on the internet, gouge their prices. All right, so everything that the free content that you've been enjoying thus far will no longer exist. You will no longer have free contact. You will no longer have the free exchange of information. And not only that, the information that would be shared would basically be controlled by certain conglomerates, all right? And they will have a monopoly on the conversation, on the international conversation. So that means that when people rise up against corrupt governments, they'll be able to shut that down, and you won't be able to see that, all right? When terrorists are attacking people like they're doing over in Africa, all right, the information about the Libyan slave trade, all the stuff that affect the average person that's trying to survive, they will be able to control, and they will be able to shut you out, and things will happen again under a blind eye. See, we weren't aware of a lot of stuff that was happening around the world before the internet, but once the internet came in and people can upload this information and we can get it at the speed of light, the world became that much smaller. And again, this goes back to dominating and controlling the airwaves, dominating and controlling the information so that the grassroots people, the people with the heart, the people that will send the donations to Puerto Rico and to Haiti, the people that will send supplies and workers down to Mexico, the people that will go to Florida and to Texas, the people that will go to these starving countries in Africa and scream and fight and talk about the terrorists, Boko Haram and all these other people and get you the information about the Libyan slave trade. All that's going to be gone. All right. Next thing you know, all that's going to be substituted with the Real Housewives of Atlanta or the Jersey Shore and all the other nonsense that they flood our TVs and other entities with. And the real information that we need to change this world for the better is going to be shut out. So this net neutrality thing just isn't just about getting you Netflix when you want it. It's about information control. It's about being able to dictate what you see, when you see, and how you see it. And we need to be aware of that. And we need to let our politicians know that we are not having it. All right. On to our main topic. More bang for the black buck. More bang for the black buck. As we said, the black vote is coming back, ladies and gentlemen. We saw this in Alabama when 30% of women, of black women, voted for Jones and pushed him over the top. They tried to make it sound like, oh, because the evangelicals didn't come out and this, that, and the other. And the truth is most of the evangelicals got behind it more and tried to push him in there because they're just as racist and corrupt as the man in the White House. But the black vote has been proven to have power once again, namely the black woman's vote in Alabama. And I've said it before, I say it again, the black woman's power is universal. It's so important. This is why when we disseminated, we did the show a couple of months ago about the new black codes, and we were talking, and we got to the part about women, about how women are important in terms of speaking power and love into the dreams of their man and their children. All right, the black woman, her voice is so vital to the nurturing and to the uplifting of our community, and her vote has been proven to be a power. All right, and not only the black woman, but the black vote period has always been essential in politics, and we need to start getting more bang for our political vote, for our buck. All right. Again, we got to stop getting caught up in other people's nonsense, other people's problems, and start concentrating on what's being done for us. When we go, the Democrats shouldn't feel that they have our vote automatically. And this is why I say it's important that a third party takes advantage of this political climate right now and tries to make a statement, make a stand, because these two systems, the Democrats and Republicans, have been playing a tug of war with us over the years. And the Democrats basically have been winning this tug of war, but in recent years, they have done nothing for us. Now I know a lot of people don't like to hear this, because he was the first black president, and he was so smooth and cool. But, all due respect to my brother Barack, he ain't doing a damn thing for black America. He signed legislation specifically for gays. He signed legislation specifically for law enforcement. He signed legislation specifically for the military. He signed law enforcement specifically for certain states and the dreamers and foreigners. But I challenge anybody to put in the comment section any specific legislation that man signed that dealt with the Nubian people's agenda. And one of the main problems with that was because we don't have a solidified agenda of our own. All right, we've always piggybacked on other people's stuff, or we made other people's stuff a part of our stuff, but we never went straight for the hilt and say, this is what we're looking to do socially, this is what we're looking to do economically, and this is what we're looking to do politically. And if you don't do these things, if you don't put in legislation, if you're not standing in front of us and talking about what you are specifically going to do to deal with this agenda, then you don't get our vote. You don't get our vote. You don't get our dollars. You don't get us socially. You look at what's happening with hip hop. All right, speaking socially. Look at the R&B awards. Look at most of the people that's winning these R&B awards now. R&B is basically non-existent for black people. We talked about Stephanie Mills last week, how she said, they want R&B, but they don't want it from us. All right? They're basically taking over all of our social networks, all of our social contributions. All right? I was in Queens the other day. Like I said, last Saturday I went, and they had the promotion held in South Jamaica at the Jamaica Arts Center. And I posted about this. Excuse me for a second. But I posted it about this. And sort of create a little firestorm. People were talking about it. But, and those of you from South Jamaica know what I'm talking about. The Jamaica Arts Center is basically overrun. The same thing they're doing in Brooklyn and they're doing in Queens. You walk in Brooklyn right now, you walk in Bed-Stuy, in these different areas, and most of the black people that lived there for years, their houses handed down from generation, they're no longer there. You got a bunch of yuppies walking around down in there. The same thing is happening in South Jamaica. I worked in South Jamaica for a long time before I came up here to Westchester. I worked at IS-8. I worked at the First Reformed Church. We had day camps and after-school programs running for our kids. Sometimes we take them to the Jamaica Arts Center. You have black instructors, black people, okay? Now the Jamaica Arts Center is being run by some Japanese or some Korean chick, and she don't respect nobody. The people in there tell me that she had a meeting with all of the parents and all of the people that's from the community, and she basically just had a meeting to identify who's who, and anybody she deemed was a troublemaker, she got rid of. All right? The music programs run by all white boys. All right? Now, and don't get me wrong, I understand that true knowledge and true education can come from anywhere. But culturally speaking, ladies and gentlemen, culturally speaking, I challenge anybody to come on here and tell me that we can go into Chinatown or Flushing or Little Italy and run some community cultural arts programs in their neighborhood. It ain't going to happen. It would never happen. I'm just trying to find... and Anna, you know what I'm talking about, that the thread we were all discussing this on, because I was incensed when I got home. You know, my brother Al Flife, one of my mentors, he's a sensei of the karate school, and he was telling me some of the stuff that was going on, and I came home and I called Leroy Kamari, and I called Greg Meeks. I even called my brother. My brother's the borough president of Brooklyn, but he said he was going to reach out to the city council person who represents Queens. He said, that's the person I need to talk to, so I'm waiting to hear back from him. You know, I'm up here in Westchester, you know, and basically I was like saying, yo, what's up with y'all out there in Queens? How y'all going to allow this to happen? You know, because I know for a fact if I was in Queens, there's no way in Haiti I would have sat back and let that happen. Knowing I know the history of the Jamaica Art Center, and I'm going to walk up in there and see a bunch of white boys teaching our kids our music? Like, what? Like, really? Not only do you usurp the music, but you're going to pass it down to the next generation like you're the founders of it. Nah, that's not cool. That's not the way that's supposed to happen. That's South Jamaica. You know, 10 years ago or so, you could say, okay, there was really nobody qualified or whatever. But, yo, that's a bunch of malarkey right now. I myself have a master's in supervision and administration. So I know I could run the place, even though I'm not there. But I know a lot of qualified people out there that have degrees, if that's the issue. Oh, you need somebody with a degree. Okay, no problem. You know how many people graduating from your college right around the corner from South Jamaica that got their degrees that can run that place, but you got to go to Flushing to get some Japanese woman that have no ties to the community, no ties to the children, no concern for the children? I mean, be for real. All the musicians, think about it. All that is the birthplace of Jamaica funk. The birthplace of Jamaica funk. All the jazz musicians, all the funk musicians, all the baddest, some of the baddest cats in the world. Some of these guys you mentioned their name, I don't care where you are on the planet. The world will stop and say, yeah, that dude is something else. Barry Johnson, Mike Flife, Al Flife, Julio, the greats, all of the greats, Hanky, Howie, all of these great musicians from South Jamaica, and you mean to tell me that your music program is going to be run by some white dudes that don't have no ties to the community whatsoever? Come on, man. Run that on somebody that don't know, you know. But I got a big up to my brother Camu B. Austin. When I wrote the post, he wrote back saying this. This is why I try to keep the community and economic issues posted in here. I'm glad people are beginning to notice what's happening. Y'all don't start investing in your own businesses and community institutions, we are going to get the same things Brooklyn and Harlem that are happening in Brooklyn and Harlem. BTW, the Bronx around Yankee Stadium is more gentrified than Jamaica. This is why I go hard promoting the businesses, economic development, and art institutions in the area. You know, this is very important, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm telling you right now. It's a shame that's what's happening in South Jamaica right now. They got plans for Jamaica. And most of us aren't in those plans. This is what my brother Camus B. Austin is writing. I know I've been to the development meetings. So he's been to the community board meetings, he's been to the development meetings, and he's saying that they got plans on the table, just like they carved up Africa. They got plans on the table for Jamaica, Queens, and we're not in those plans. South Jamaica, the people, the residents of South Jamaica aren't in those plans. Go to the community board meetings. He's urging people, go to the community, find out where the community board meetings are, and go to them. Join the Chamber of Commerce. Get grants for the arts. Get a place, get a piece of the $20 billion in development money for the 2 airports. $20 billion, ladies and gentlemen. This is what he found out going to the community board meetings and the Chamber of Commerce meetings. $20 billion is coming down the pipe for the 2 airports. Get a piece of that, my brother. If you got a small construction company, you got any expertise out there, go out there, put in your bid, and get some of that money and be a part of the process. Learn how to get the government mandated and stated affordable housing and apartments, all right? Because, see, this is the stuff they won't tell you about. They'll have you homeless while some Japanese or Chinese or white person will come right up in South Jamaica and be writing 40 projects before you know it. And this is happening all over. It's happening in Harlem. I've seen it for myself in Brooklyn. I've seen it for myself in Harlem. This is going on all over. And when I was out there, I was so disgusted to really hear that they got some Japanese women running the Jamaica Arts Center in the heart of South Jamaica. And again, I challenge anybody on here to tell me where you can go to down in Williamsburg and run a community center full of Jewish children. Ain't gonna happen. Or you can go to Chinatown and run their community center for their Chinese children. Ain't gonna happen. Or you can go to Little Italy and run their music program. Have an all-black director and musicians running their music program for their little Italian children. Ain't gonna happen. And it's disgusting. So my brother goes on to say, we got a lot more at risk than just culture and art centers. Okay, come on, fam. Let's get on it before it's too late. Jamaica and South Queens are the last great black cultural communities left in New York City. We are either going to step up and are we going to step up and leave a legacy for our children? So that's what my brother said in terms of my original post. And I just wanted to read my original post. When I came back that night, like I said, I was incensed, man. And so I wrote, Jamaica, Queens, how in the hell have y'all allowed the Jamaica Arts Center to fall into the hands of people that don't represent us? You don't have anyone from South Jamaica running the place. You have a Japanese director, all white musicians running the music program, and none of them with ties or interest to the community. What the F? Y'all know what the F is. This is crazy. Do you think for a moment you can go into any other community and take over their arts program for their children? Y'all need to get on the ball out there and hold them accountable. And people wrote back saying, what is this y'all stuff? It's all of us. Listen, I'm up here in Westchester. Sure, the family home is still there. Mom is still there. But I don't get down to Queens like that no more. You know? And the fact of the matter is, for those of you who are out there that allowed this to happen, because it didn't happen on my watch. When I was out there, we ran that place. We ran the Jamaica Arts Center. We gave them hell in York College the time I was there. You can go anywhere and ask them, mention my name to anybody that's there that know the history of that place, and they'll tell you, oh yeah, that dude Leroy was a crazy mofo. All right. We made sure that the community was a part of your college. We made sure the community ran the Jamaica Arts Center. We made sure our children were served at the Beacon School and ISA. We made sure we ran Roy Wilkins Park. And all that is going down the tubes. Why? Because we haven't demanded more bang for our political, social, and economic buck, ladies and gentlemen. It's 2:52, and that's my rant for this week. Listen, before I get out of here, you know how I do it. We got to give a shout out to certain people. We want to give a shout out to my friend Selena Albright. She's a great musician. Her record Conversations is doing very well on the charts. She just finished the show. She's the daughter of the saxophonist Gerald Albright, very prominent musician. So if you can get her a CD, it should be. I think it's on YouTube. You can look her up. She's got a website. So shout out to Selena, and look for her single called Conversations. Very nice piece. Shout out to my cousin Gene Mason, who just had a birthday. Want to send Gene some love. Happy birthday, Gene. Another birthday shout out to the great Barry Harris, pianist. He's been around for years. He's a great musician, great teacher, great instructor. Happy birthday to Barry Harris. I want to send a shout out to Tavis Smiley. And I know it's risky, and a lot of people might be saying, well, why you want to send a shout out to him? Well, Tavis was just accused. He got swept up in this wave of people being accused of sexual assault. And I'm sending a shout out to Tavis because he basically standing up and saying, yo, I didn't do this, and I respect that, not because, he was accused, but because he's standing up and saying that he didn't do it, because a lot of times we get this mob mentality and to the point where all the person has to do is accuse us of something and they're automatically guilty. And I'm hoping that my brother isn't guilty. If he is, I wish that he would have the courage and the wherewithal to stand up and take responsibility for what he did. But if he's not guilty and these people are just looking for a payday and PBS just folded under the pressure, I say stand up, Tavis. Stand up and do what you got to do, So shout out to our brother Tavis Smiley for standing up for his reputation and for the work that he's done on the behalf of our community. Shout out to our brother Carmelo Anthony. He's going to be back in New York. They're playing the Knicks tonight. A lot of people be seeing people online saying they should boo him when he come back. I'm saying no. Melo came here when nobody wanted to come here. He tried his best to bring us a championship. He worked with those players more than the coaches did. Everybody's raving about Kristaps Porzingis, but the truth of the matter is Melo took Kristaps under his wing and showed him what it is to be a champ. So shout out to Melo. I hope you don't win tonight. I am a New York Knicks fan, but shout out to that brother, and let's show him some love when he come back to the Garden. Shout out to the New York Knicks. Let's get this win tonight, guys. I like Melo, respect to Melo, but beat the man. Shout out to Colin Kaepernick. I understand he was named GQ Man of the Year. That sent the Orange Man into a rage. He visited Rikers Island. That sent the race soldiers out there into a rage. And he was given an award that was presented to him by Beyonce. She surprised him and presented him with an award. So shout out to Colin for keeping the fight going, for staying strong. We behind you, brother. And remember, we are boycotting the NFL. All right, they don't respect us, so we're not respecting them. Shout out to Naja, daughter of, as I told you, her father, Alf Life, is one of my mentors. Her uncle, Mike, the atomic drummer, Flight, is a great drummer. Naja just released a video. She was at the Rose Gold Lounge in Queens last night. I don't know how it went, but knowing her, it went well. So respect to her, and shout out to her. Shout out to David. David was on here. I saw David. You posted 21 years strong. Stay strong, brother. Good for you, man. That's great. It was great to read that and hear that, man. Brother shared some personal information, and he's staying on his course, and all the blessings in the world to him. All right, before I go, our unsung hero is Toussaint Louverture. He was the general that led the Haitian Revolution back in 1791 to 1804. We spoke about our brother Tariq Nasheed that exposed the bully boy who was truly a white supremacist undercover. Tariq just produced a movie called 1804. If you can get that movie, I encourage you to do so. I encourage you to get the Hidden Colors series. I encourage you to get Out of Darkness by our brother Sabir Bey. And I also encourage you to stay strong. Don't believe the lies that they're telling you that you fail to prepare for the reality that's yet to come. I love you guys. Peace out, and I'll see you next week.
Oh.